Hello everybody, Secondhand Dan coming to you from Homosassa, Florida land, outside my residence here. Like I said, I got in on Monday and it is now Sunday. We've been tackling project after project, some little, some bigger than others, but I've got a little project to take care of here. Taking a step in the right direction. This here, I replaced all the wood on this 3 years ago, but I did use used wood. And, you know, it held up for quite a while. The steps that are still here seem to be largely stable, but you can see this gray board here is actually a piece of decking that I had to clamp down temporarily because the board that was there on our arrival, when I stepped on it, it just went crunch and broke right about here. So it was rotten and it's gone. So I took it out and I have found a board. I mean, it almost looks like it came off of the steps, but it did not. I have determined that this board is a little bit too long right now, so I'm going to cut it down to size. And I am going to bolt it in place of this planking here, and then I will repaint the entire set of steps. I won't be painting it in the green. I painted it in the green the first year we were here, bought a gallon of the green paint, and loved the way it looked. So you can see the shutters. The shutters are also green. They're green on the other side of the house, so I like the color, but we put the paint away and we came back the following year, and more than half a gallon somehow, I don't know what went on inside the can, but like it frothed up or gassed off, and it like started pushing the lid open while we were gone for 6 months. I never had a can of paint do that. So that paint is no longer good, so I will have to paint the steps a different color. Only it's just to keep the steps uniform. I mean, I'm not about to run out and pay good money again for another can of hunter green paint. I mean, I would wish that that paint hadn't failed me in the can, but it did, so I think I've got a tan for to do this up in. But let's get the tape measure, the saw, and pencil, and cut this board to fit. Here I am on the back side. You can see again the green. And there is another set of steps. We actually, my cousin Roy and I tweaked these last year. Everything that is not in the gray, that's all new wood. So I'll be able to paint those up at the same time I paint the other set. So the gray wood, that must have been left over from something else, but everything here is in pretty good shape. I say the unpainted is actually new. So, and the funny thing is, look at the size of those gaps. And when I bolted these all down, there was not even a 1/4 inch, maybe 3/16 gap when I bolted them down. But they have shrunk, and the gap has gotten bigger. It's not a problem. It's just I didn't see that coming, or I might have just kept them a little tighter. Maybe just put an 1/8 inch gap if I known they were going to shrink like that. So we have to go over to the shed, the shop, and get a saw, tape measure. All right, into the land of chaos. You're gonna have to cut me some slack. I've only been here a couple of days, but I do plan on getting this all straightened out in the next couple of weeks. So I know there's a circular saw. I believe it's over here. I tend to keep my bulky power tools in this large wooden crate over here. Oh, there's a circular saw. Nice Craftsman. 2.5 horsepower. You know, that's nice. Now here are the 2 bolts that I'll use to bolt the tread down to that metal frame out there. I actually had to run a tap down each bolt, chase the threads, because the galvanization on them was wouldn't allow the nuts to go down. So they were over galvanized, something like that, but they seem to be functioning now. Well, this looks like the bulk of tools I'll need. The saw, the tape measure, framing square, draw a straight line on the board, sockets to bolt the bolts. I am going to go over and get a measurement and cut the board, bring the board back to the workshop and cut it over here. So let's go ahead and open the bay door. Hal, open the bay door. Noisy son of a gun. All right, grab the tape measure and buzz around to the front and get a measurement and bring the board back. Oh, it's hard doing it one-handed. All right, well, I'm seeing 42 7/8. Let's get this clamp out. Well, no, just in case the wife was to all of a sudden come outside with my back turned, better leave that in place. So 42 7/8. Well, I'm going to bring out a device called a jaw horse. Made by Rockwell. It's got 3 legs, and it's got a vise built into it. You pump on this thing and it gets tighter and holds your wood or whatever else project you're working on. Make no bones about it. This device is kind of heavy, so I think it's about 50 pounds. The legs will fold up. If I didn't have all this junk in the way, I would just grab it and tote it on out there, but I think I have to fold the legs up to get past some of this stuff. All right, well, we loosen up this bolt here. This is a single leg, and then you tug on it. And it'll fold up that way. Now the other 2 legs have a latch here. So you pull that in and it'll allow the leg to fold up. All right, well, there's what the old sawhorse or Rockwell jaw horse. I think there's another company that puts this out also with, I don't know if the Rockwell's called a jaw horse or it's called something else, but I believe there's 2 versions of the same tool. But it's heavy. All right, well, let's put this bad boy back up again. You can see it is pretty compact. You could get it probably into most any vehicle. So pull up the center leg, pull out the foot pedal. The center leg, you'll find it actually keys in. I guess there's a square hole it goes into. Tighten the wing nut, if you want to call it that. And it just broke. Then now there's just there's a bolt that goes through it, but I guess it was, oh, and I can see 2 little pinholes where the butt must have lined up and it wouldn't have put as much stress on it, and it probably wouldn't have snapped on me. It'll still function. I plan on leaving this, pretty much set up. I'm not gonna, when I'm done with this job, grab it and put it away, because this is Florida and there's a lot of good weather, and And even some of the bad weather isn't going to, quote, kill this thing. Because my shop is so small. All right. Open. Let's get this board up here. You always want to cut off the ugliest end possible. Sometimes you may actually have to take a little bit off of each end to get the best middle section out of it. But I'm seeing cracks on this end here and not so much down there. But I think I'll take a little, because this is pretty granular. It's a rough cut, so maybe I'll true it up on this end and then take the rest of the bulk off of this end. Now this jaw horse used to have, I guess, a rubber pad on this side of the vise, so I plan on getting a piece of like car tire or something like that and making a new pad. Pump on the pedal. Come on, don't film me now. There we go. Okay, it's locked in place. Get the extension cord out here. Got all right, get my framing square. I said I want to take a little off the green end, which is square it up and take some of that coarseness off of it so it'll seal better when I cover it with paint. Now I really advise you to buy tools at flea markets and yard sales. You'll see people desperate to sell their stuff. I mean, a saw like this, you know, in the store, probably like, you know, $65, $75. I probably paid $5 for it. And it looks like it just gathered dust in somebody's garage for years. Check my depth. More than deep enough. Let's shallow it up a little bit, shall we? Yeah, there we go. All right. Turn it around. So if I go this way, the body of the saw is hanging off in midair. If I come back to this side, the body of the saw is resting on the board, which makes it stable and makes it easier to get an accurate cut. It definitely smoothed it up. So we said we're at 42 3/4. I'm notorious for having something one moment and there it is. It's down here. I must have dropped it, my tape measure. I lose stuff right in front of me all the time. 42 3/4. I think we're there. All right, with the board cut to the proper length now, I do have a bolt left in here from the old step. I mean, it just rotted right around that bolt and it fell out. So I need to take my ratchet and remove that bolt. Got this little flexi head with a 11mm on it. See if we can't get this bolt out of it. Hopefully it isn't going to grip on any old rust or something like that, because I didn't bring a pair of vice grips and I'll have to run back and get those. I bought these bolts and nuts at the flea market. They were new. generics. You know, they came in boxes or containers that without names or labels on them. And right now, okay, that fits. So we're actually up to a 13, but the ones that I'm going to be installing have an 11 on them. Reverse, reverse. Okay. Yeah, if I cock it at an angle and get the bolt to grip to the frame of the staircase. There we go. Now maybe I'll at least turn it finger tight for a while. Hopefully it's going to go all the way off finger tight. 1/4 inch to go. Well, actually, plus the thickness of the bolt, almost 1/2 inch to go. Now the thickness of the nut is 1/4 inch to go. All right, all the way off it comes. Okay. Set the new tread up there. I would say leave an 1/8 inch gap between that and the step in front of it, the tread in front of it. That way the dirt, needles, leaves will be able to trickle through. If they don't trickle through, they'll probably just hold water and moisture and cause it to rot even faster. So I'm going to take my pencil and reach up underneath and mark where the holes are. Go to this side as well. Okay, there it is. All right. There's where I'm going to be drilling through. I want to keep a drill perpendicular. Don't let it go with much of an angle. Of course, that's what perpendicular means. Don't let it go at an angle. We are through. First bolt on this side. A little bit of a hole needs cleaned up a little bit. There we go. You want to try and keep that hole as close to being just short of snug or too loose, so it keeps water and moisture out. All right, well, it's going to require a little bopping. Now these bolts are called carriage bolts. Means they have a square shank up underneath the head, and the head itself is actually a button top rather than a hex shape. The idea is that the square part will dig into the wood and keep the rest of it from spinning while you tighten it down. And you won't catch your toes or your soles on the mushroom type head on this if you had used a traditional hexagon. So let me go ahead and set the other one in place. It's another reason to keep the hole size close, is because then that square shank will bite into the wood better and not be less likely to spin around. Okay. Reaching up underneath, putting these little 11mm nuts in place. Spin it up as far as you can with your fingers. It beats trying to, with the ratchet, because the ratchet a lot of times will just carry the nut back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Especially if it's only finger tight. So I pretty much got that one all the way up to about where it's landing on the steel frame. Hopefully the other one will be just as successful. Finger tight, spinning it with my thumb even. Now some people say you should put a lock washer on there so it doesn't back off. Well, after a couple weeks, a month, whatever, I'm sure the threads will tend to build up a little bit of rust on the surface, just like this one has, which prevents the nut from backing down. And I think they've proven that lock washers, when they're fully compressed, aren't really locking. It is until they start to back off that they actually start to bite a little bit, and by then it's already loose. So, oh, gotta change up the socket. And you can watch the top, the button head as it draws down, and you want to get it to where it's actually the whole button head is kind of starting to push into the wood. But these are cheap. I got to watch it, they don't go too tight because they will strip. I've had that happen while assembling these things a couple years ago. And not only that, the tension of the compressed wood acts as a lock washer too. It keeps pulling the bolt down and the nut up. So there it is. Now it needs a coat of paint, and I plan on painting it if I'm here tomorrow. I think my wife is going on a little road trip. We're in Homosassa, and she's talking about running up to Tampa to meet her daughter and run around Tampa all day. So that would be the perfect opportunity to paint these, because we won't have to worry about accidentally her or myself, you know, going up and down them while the paint's drying. Well, thanks for hanging with me on this this little project. I know it's no big deal, but beautiful day and all, and I've got a couple more little projects to do. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.